So, Cree, welcome to the channel. I appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
Is that your like legal name or like a nickname?
It is. That's my full name, Cree. Cree McGee.
What is it?
Cree McGee.
Cree McGee. Is
Yes.
there a meaning behind the name? Because it's different. I never.
I don't think there's a meaning. I was named after Cree Summers.
Okay.
She was the actor on. Wow, that's not even our time. The voice of Susie Carmichael. Number 4 on Codename Kids Next Door. Really?
You lost me.
Rugrats?
Oh, no
Susie
way.
Carmichael?
Okay. Yeah, Susie.
Yeah, that was the voice of Susie.
Oh, no way. Okay,
yeah, Cree
okay.
Summers. She did a lot of characters.
Who gave you that name? Mom?
My mom.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she probably was. It's just different, you know.
Yeah,
I love it.
absolutely.
I love it. So I know you asked me what's the point of this, and I've been telling everybody. You can move the mic closer. I've been telling everybody there is real no point other than me genuinely wanting to conversate with you to learn more about you. And I've done podcasts for other people where I sat in and, kind of just sat in on the live stream and help host.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's just like, I did it for North Jersey individuals, investors.
Okay.
So I was interviewing, top A players, producers.
Mm-hmm.
But then like sitting in it, I was like I have my mind would go fidget and this and I'm like, yo, I really don't care.
Yeah.
I was like, there's no real connection to that person. So it's just like I wasn't present in it.
What was the topic of this podcast?
Just real estate.
Oh, okay.
Like every other podcast.
Yeah.
In real estate. So
Wanted to add some
I was just
flair.
fidgeting and didn't really care. I didn't, I'm not in North Jersey market. I was like, I'm sure he's saying certain gems that I should be picking up, but it's just like I didn't have no real connection to that individual, so I was just like, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I was like, when I started this, I was like, I didn't want it to be like every other podcast. So I'm gonna say to you what I say to everybody else. If you wanted to talk about more about business and straightforward how much money you're making, stuff like that, like go to somebody else's. It's already there. So I kind of want to just be more different and be more of a mindset, spiritual, emotional kind of conversation of how you got to this point of doing real estate. Because I feel like people who are top producers or closers, there's a mindset to it that I genuinely love, And then
Absolutely.
on top of that, you're not a stranger to me. This is actually our first time meeting.
I know.
Right? So it's a pleasure
And
to meet you,
it's not
right?
our first transaction, but it's the first
It's
time
not.
we've
So we've done a
actually
few
met.
last year, and shout out to Jamal for being a catalyst of
shout
bringing
out
us
to Jamal.
together. I do a lot with him too.
DI Solutions.
DI Solutions LLC, yeah. And through the transactions with you, I saw something. I was like, man, this girl has it together. Like you're not normal in my opinion. Like you're out there getting it. And you don't give a shit what nobody says. And I love that a lot, because you don't see that a lot. I feel like I don't see it a lot today where people's like, yo, fuck what is going on. I'm focused on my own thing and getting results. Because I'm the same way. Like, I don't really worry about I just focus on, hey, what I need to do and grow and stuff like that. And I got that energy from you, And I've been doing real estate in Philly for about 8 years. I think in the last year and a half, 2 years, you just, like, literally, I'm like, who the fuck is this girl? Like, killing it. Like, you are really killing it. On top of that, you got a nice clientele of buyers. And I'm like, where'd you come from? How old are you? If you want to share, what's your background like?
Yeah.
Like, wow,
I am 28 years old. I am from South Jersey, Cherry Hill, born and raised. I got into real estate about 3 years ago. I was dating someone at the time I watched him study real estate for 6 months. He was an entrepreneur. He got on YouTube, and I watched him every single day study the game, learn how to do it. And as soon as I saw he made that first check, I was like, yeah,
what was his first check?
It was like over 30 grand or something like that.
Doing what though? Like what was
wholesaling?
Wow.
Yeah, wholesaling.
Wow.
So I was like, I want to get into this.
Wow. And you were just dating him, right?
Yeah, I was just dating him.
How long?
And we were together for about almost a year when he got into the wholesale thing.
What were you doing before?
I was a bartender.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a bartender.
What was he doing before?
Clothing line.
Clothing line, okay.
Yeah, he
anything...
was a serial entrepreneur doing clothing. He did technology, stuff like that.
He tried a lot.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
I think that's what entrepreneurship is because
figuring out.
Yeah, my wife when she's upset, she'll go in on me and like you failed at this, like you suck, and when
you
she's
started.
upset. But then I was like, entrepreneurship is exactly that. It's trying this,
Yeah.
trying so many different avenues till you find what clicks for you. When the result
Absolutely.
comes in, you're like, this is it. So
Yeah.
I feel that. So 30K.
Yeah, I saw he made that first deal, and for a few months I was like, teach me. And he was like, nah, like conflict of interest, like we're already dating. I don't want to mix
Are you guys
too
still
much.
dating?
We're not. No.
Okay.
I don't.
He probably regret that.
No.
He's like, oh shit.
Yeah, I didn't want to mix too much. He didn't want to mix too much, but
That's respectable,
he saw,
actually.
Yeah, he saw the go-getter in me and gave me a chance. And my first few months in real estate got my first deal.
Wow.
I was working his leads, just doing lead generation, and then kept stepping up.
How was he
little.
getting his whole cold calling? How were you guys getting leads?
We were doing Podio, just text blasting for
Okay.
the most part for a while. We did a little bit of cold calling, but I didn't really start cold calling until like over a year into the game,
Okay.
just because social media has really changed a lot of factors in terms of marketing and getting leads, dispo, all that stuff. So,
I agree.
so about a year into it, I probably did like a handful of deals, made a shit ton of money with him. And
Damn.
after a while, I was like, I need to be an agent. But yeah, shout out to Teron Hyatt, Supreme Assets. He taught me everything I know in this game. And I'm incredibly
This your
grateful
ex?
for that. Yeah, that's my
nice,
ex.
nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
We actually had a kid together, and in the delivery room, we were selling houses.
No way.
Yeah,
That's
and
dope.
the nurses were like, "We've never seen anything like this before."
Right.
And we were like, "Yeah, money talks."
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's an amazing story.
Yeah.
But you guys aren't together right now.
No, but we still do business. Still do deals. We partner on literally almost everything.
That's
He's
beautiful.
my ride or die. So
Man, your child, son, daughter?
son,
right?
Yeah, wise.
He's gonna have an amazing future, it sounds
Yeah.
like, especially with parents like you guys, where
We
you guys
definitely try
aren't
to
playing.
expose him to a lot.
Right, right. Would you say that mindset that you have today came from him? What's his name? Teron?
Teron. Yeah, I'd say that he definitely molded me into the strong entrepreneur that I am today. I definitely had it in me. I was bartending. I had started a business during COVID, a bartending business. For years, I've always been about getting my money.
Right,
but
right.
he really showed me, you got to grind. You got to eat, sleep, and breathe. Stay down. Stay down for 6 months. Ignore everything else,
Yeah, yeah.
all your distractions, and watch how your life changes. And
Right,
that's
right.
exactly what we did together.
I mean, I see and felt the result through social media of your grind and hustle. And I'm sure that you said your ex, right? So if you don't mind sharing, what is it like working with somebody that you were with, and why not keep it together? Like, is it just...
It can be challenging
I'm sure.
sometimes. I mean, but at the same time, we both have the same schedule. I mean, when he has the kid, I know he's working or I'm working. Like, we kind of bounce off of one another. If he's got to go to showings, I take the kid. If I got to go to showings, he's got to take the kid. We all work in a lot of the same similar groups with wholesalers, realtors, all that stuff. If you're active in the market, we've all pretty much worked together
Cross
at some
paths.
point, right? It really is about professionalism. At the end of the day, we're both out to get the same goal.
The same
and our
bag.
son is the product of our success. So we're trying to, do it for him.
I think that's very, very beautiful.
Thank you.
The vision I have from your story, because you don't hear that a lot today of, I guess, co-parenting now.
Yeah.
But you guys mentally have a goal together, like a common goal that, like, physical emotions of that aspect is like, hey, let's set this to the side. We got business to handle.
Yeah.
And man, you guys are really handling it. Like,
I mean,
this
he's
is-
a killer. He's a beast too. So I mean, it's nothing but respect.
man, if
And-
you're a product of, his education and stuff, I mean, he's somebody I want on there
Yeah.
too. Like, I felt like, do I need to meet him?
He used to call me his protege
I
because
like
he
that.
molded me and then just like.
And it
let
sounds
me
like he's
go.
very proud of it and happy of your success.
Yes.
Because you don't see that a lot when mentors have a student that outshines them.
Mm.
A lot of times it's a different type of story.
Mhm.
But I think it's amazing because I have students that at one point was paying me, and I was like, you know what? I really want to help. I was like, you paying me and not doing nothing isn't helping. And I said, I know that you need the information. I'm gonna just give it to you for free. Whether you decide to take it and apply it or not is on you. But at least the obligation is lifted off my shoulder because I didn't take nothing from you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's just like it's up to you now. You know what I mean? And I felt like people who don't have the money to pay for coaching need the most help.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
But it also is about seeing the drive in somebody.
Exactly.
Like, you don't want to sit there and train people who are going to quit in a week because
Exactly.
they don't see immediate results.
Yeah.
And I think that's the risk that he took with me.
Yeah.
He knew I wanted it. I was driven to, push him every day. Teach me more. Teach me more. And as opposed to, we normally see people that are like, oh, I'll get to it. I don't know if I have time to spend 2 hours a day on real estate, 4 hours a day on real estate. I have another job. All right, well, this isn't for you. Or maybe you should pay your way because that's me wasting my time for, someone who doesn't really want it.
It's
but
true.
if you show me, for sure, I'll teach you everything I know.
And I think the reason why you're talking like this, right, is because of the education and mentorship you got from Tehran, right? And you're paying it forward.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to hear you say that because, you're just trying to give people what you received.
Yeah.
Which is support ultimately.
Absolutely.
And I think that's awesome throughout the board.
Thank you.
And I also want to ask you, like, I noticed that you got into other hobbies, which are results in real estate. It gives you the freedom to kind of like travel and stuff from what I see. And I'm like, God, yo, she's living it. Like, I love seeing people live their life, because I had a son at the age of 19. So I spent my 20s kind of figuring myself out and I didn't have much support or nothing, right?
Okay.
So when I see it now today of, people enjoying working hard, it's amazing.
Enjoying the fruits of theirs.
And you're doing shit that scares the fuck out of me. Like, you're scuba diving.
Yeah, I got I had a really big deal earlier, right before summertime, and I was like,
What's
what?
big?
I'm gonna treat myself.
What's big?
A little under 50.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I was like, all right, maybe this is time. Like, I do something for myself. So I country hopped a little bit with some friends, got certified as a scuba diver.
Yeah, you
and
did.
I've just been open water diving. It's been an incredible experience so far.
Yeah, I get goosebumps watching you because I'm scared of open water, like, a lot.
Really?
Like, I can't look at the abyss
And not know it's out there.
and not know it's like, even standing
Yeah.
on like an MD beach. Like, I went to Cabos and I stood on the beach, and like across the beach, like, it's like this big giant mountain. And at night, I'm like, what if
What's out
something's
there?
staring at me?
Yeah. But that's the cool part.
I can't do it. I
I
don't
did a
even want to
night
think
dive.
about it. You went night diving.
Yeah,
When
I
I
did a
seen
night
that,
dive.
I was
That
like,
was
you're
the
fucking
scariest
crazy.
thing I've probably ever done in life. Like, at one point, we all turned our flashlights off, and our only light was the glowfish around us. So we all just held on to each other and just
God.
like soaked it all. It was incredible.
I couldn't.
Yeah, it was
I
incredible.
couldn't. I get goosebumps thinking about it. But
You got to try everything at least
the
once.
only way I would scuba dive is in like a pool. Like you go to like a
Okay,
resort and
well,
like scuba diving.
They train you in the pool.
Yeah,
so
you
I
start
guess
out there, right?
Yeah.
So where is it that you travel to?
I went to Jamaica with my best friend, Shamira, for both of our birthdays. And we did an excursion, a scuba dive excursion. It was both of our first times, and I fell in love with it. So that's where I went back to Jamaica literally 2 weeks later.
I saw.
And got certified for
I
it.
saw, and I'm like, man, she really into that. I'm following your journey. I'm like, this girl's
Thank
growing.
you. That's awesome.
And you can't help not to be pulled in to your success because you really, like, on social media, you really don't give a fuck about what anybody got. Like, hey, this is my business. This is what I got on. This is what I got for sale. This is the client's looking. Let me know what you got. And I haven't seen somebody like that on social media, the way you portray yourself.
It's more so like, I keep emotions out of everything in this business. Like, if you get caught up in how somebody feels or you're putting too much thought behind something, it's not going to work out for you. Like, this is a cold cut game. Like, you have to have tough skin to be in this industry, and especially as a female.
Yeah.
So it's more, and a minority at that.
Right.
It's so many battles that you have to cross. And if at any point in time I show weakness, I'm going to be treated like that.
Right.
So it's important to me as a woman to show I'm strong. I can hold my own, and I don't need anybody behind me to be successful. I can do it all by myself.
I think you do a great job at it, you know,
Thank you.
being a single mother. I actually made a post today about single mother, well, wives and strong women in general. I don't know if you peeped that, but it does take a lot, you know, and I think a lot of guys, like I have a strong wife too, so she's always in my ear every day. So I know what the struggles that she goes through of maintaining a household.
Yeah.
You know, giving birth, changing your body,
yeah.
and it's a big mental factor too that I think a lot of guys don't resonate with and or take the time to understand, especially if you don't have, you know, a strong woman that wants the best out of you.
Yeah.
You know, and nothing against women, but there are strong women that just won't settle, and there are women that are just more support systems, right?
For sure.
A little bit more passive, you know, but for the strong women that require growth and stuff and will tell you what they go through, you know, for me, I've grown such a big appreciation for women. And yeah, being in this business isn't easy.
It's not.
Especially like you said, being an immigrant. Like I'm an immigrant, so I feel that, you know, and then being a woman, I can't feel that, but yeah, I somewhat could try to understand that, you know, you guys do get overlooked over a man more times than none. You know,
yeah, and especially depending on what type of fields you're in, whether it's investment fields or you're in the retail luxury space, a lot of people think that you have to do something for them in order to get something in return.
Right.
And that's not how I roll.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's very, very important to me to put out the message that you can be a strong woman in this industry. You don't have to be a man to be a successful realtor, a successful wholesaler, a successful investor.
Right.
It's all possible.
Yeah. So for your business now, is it just you and still? I mean, it seems like it's just you. I don't know.
Primarily, yeah. I mean, I work with wholesalers. They bring me leads or I give them leads. I've got a few VAs that pull leads for me consistently on market. Teron actually taught me that method. I'll give you.
What do you mean, VA? Like to scan the market, like MLS, and kind of based on the criteria you give them. This is what if you find something that fits, give it to me. Like
yes,
that.
Exactly.
That's dope.
So I give, for example, one of my good friend Becca. She was looking for some side stuff to do. So I give her a criteria that my clients are looking for on the MLS. She'll pull all the properties, put it on a sheet for me, and I'll go through each single one of them and pull comps on it, run numbers on it, see where I can get the price to, where I could probably get the price to. I'll send it to a wholesaler, and he'll lock it down for me. We'll try and flip the numbers and work it that way.
Why don't you lock it down?
Or if it's something that can be wholesaled, that's my first approach.
Right.
But if it's something that I know the numbers are going to be tight on, I initially send it to my clients first and try and get the agency. But if I can collect an agency and an assignment fee, I will.
Right. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I try and double end, as much as I can.
For sure. Because you're doing both jobs anyway.
Exactly.
You're doing both jobs anyway.
Yeah.
What was getting a license something that you just automatically thought of doing, like you needed, or is it something that your mentor kind of like suggested? Because I'm suggesting that now to people who I feel like the drive isn't there. So it's like, you know what? Maybe you're better off following a system, like a 9-to-5 system, because being a realtor, under the right brokerage can provide you
a lot of resources.
And more of a process to follow versus like, wholesaling or investor mindset where it's just like, you got to kind of see what works for you.
Yeah, I mean, I started in wholesale because it seemed easy. But as soon as I was ready to get past like the $5,000 commissions, $2,500 assignment fees, you only reach a certain price point as a wholesale. Normally, the average price point is anywhere from like a cheap $50,000 house to maybe $150,000 at most. I was trying to scale. So I knew that getting my license would bring me opportunities for higher price points.
Right,
so that's why I got my license.
I feel that a lot. I actually felt like I seen you increase your price points too, live on social media from the 2,500s to like, hey,
$500,000.
It's time to do. Yeah, you're killing it.
Yeah.
I feel like you're better than me because I don't go into those bigger brackets. I don't have the clientele for it, I feel like. So I kind of just stay in that doable price range on average.
See, that's how agency helped me get those higher price
Yes,
points.
yes.
Because I sit open houses. I try and do at least 2 open houses every
Same.
weekend.
I'm a
every
licensed
single
agent
weekend.
too, so
Yeah.
when it comes to higher price points, agent hat is the
Yes.
best thing.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
And it's like let the market. I realize agent hat let the market dictate what the price should be if they're whatever they're
Absolutely.
asking. You know, if there's no like presenting comps wise, like, all right, let's go your way then.
Yeah, you have to follow the market for everything. The
Yep.
market tells you everything you need to know. So if I'm sitting at an open house, what I try to do is I pull neighborhoods that have the highest success rates.
Right,
So
right.
if I know something is selling really quickly in the neighborhood, I'm going to reach out to those agents and say, hey, do you mind if I sit your open house? Or I'll reach out to sellers. If it's for sale
Oh,
by
no
owner, I
way.
say, hey, if I can host an open house and bring you a buyer, would you pay me a commission?
Right, right.
So all those walk-in clients that are unrepresented, call them. That's
so
my client
dope.
right there. So that's how you get those higher price
Right,
points.
right.
And
I-
also networking
You know what?
events, all that.
I always seen, you know, the opportunity to do other agents open houses. I just
Mm-hmm.
never did it. Just to hear you kind of promote that, I'm amazed by you right now.
It's one
you
of
know,
those things that
because you're not
nobody wants
fucking
to
lazy.
do.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. Nobody wants to. I have an agent that I onboarded onto my team recently because she sold my flip, and I was like, "Hey, are you with a team?" And like she does that, and I'm like, "You better than me." But the way you're saying is like you make it sound so nonchalant, you know, so easy the way you do it. Where versus because I've done open houses for my sellers, and it's not the way you imagine it in your head because when you're
Yeah.
there, you're just sitting there, you
Yeah.
know, and then you're like, I wish somebody would come in. You're like trying to make a post, you know. So
No,
it's
I
like
know.
the feeling of being there versus envisioning yourself doing it is completely different. You know what I
So
mean?
here's the thing. You have to use it as an opportunity. So if I'm going to be home sitting at my office anyways, I'm going to bring my laptop and I'm going to sit there and work the whole time. If I have Wi-Fi, I have a hotspot, I know I can sit there and work on my laptop. If people aren't coming in, okay, at least I got work done while I'm
Right.
sitting here. If people are coming in, great, that's opportunity. If I don't have any work to do, I'm doing content.
Right.
Because I'm sitting here in a beautiful house. I could be filming reels. I could be, making posts on social media, working on my engagement.
Right.
All of those things that are going to help grow me in the future. Whether or not I post it that time or sit and edit it later, it's content that I have.
Right. That's a different mindset for sure. You make it sound fun, you know. and I do the same thing. Like when I am there, I try to do marketing and make content and stuff. But I guess the boring aspects of it is like, man, I'd rather just be at home and just
Yeah,
sit
for
in
sure.
a more comfortable place other than somebody's listing, right? Empty house.
Yeah.
Sometimes it might not be heated or whatever.
Or
but
furnished. You're
but
sitting on
your
the floor.
drive, I mean, that's guys. She's giving you guys gems, so I hope you
Yeah.
guys kind of take these little tips, you know, and be better than me because I'm a little lazy sometimes. You know, I have 2 kids with me, and then I have an older one who's 19, 20 with his other mom.
Okay.
So I don't know. I guess feel like me being a father at such a young age, 19. Like now, I'm in a state of like I feel like old. Like I have an old soul.
Okay.
Like I'm so
But you
old.
know, that makes you wise.
I have such an old soul that I'm thinking like grandpa.
No,
I'm
you're not
serious.
that
Like
old.
no, I'm thinking like I can't wait to be a grandpa.
Okay.
Like I look forward to that, you know, because I done parenting at an early age, and now I'm just like, I feel like I have a nice grip on parenting today of communication with my kids, my spouse, and stuff that I'm looking forward to the future, you know, because if you map out your life, I'm turning 39. I want to retire before 55.
That's a great
You know,
goal.
so 15 years, you know, and at 55, I still feel like I got the energy to still enjoy. And then there's a transition where I don't want to wait to get till death to give to my kids. Like when I retire, I want to give
Yeah.
and consult them. You know, I feel like my biggest students will be them, you know, so I'm anticipating for when they're ready, you know, but I know that when I give them, I want to give it to them like completely, not wait till death, because I want to give them a nice stepping stone to conduct in a confident mental manner.
Are
Because
you teaching them real estate?
yeah, definitely.
That's awesome.
When they're ready, you know, and I will give it to them, all the properties, you know, all the funding.
That's awesome.
I want to do it because I know the feeling and confidence you have when you have finances under your belt to conduct a transaction versus a scarcity mindset, you know, come from an abundant mindset, you know, and I have visions in my head where like they're going to outdo me and that my grandkids are gonna come to me and like, yo, grandpa, I just settled on a 20 apartment unit building. I'm doing better than you. I did better than you than your residential.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, you asshole. That residential set you up for this shit. I'm proud of you. You know what I mean?
Remember, it was the blueprint.
Yep.
Yeah.
So like, I'm looking forward to it. Like, that's how I feel when I say I have an old soul. Like, so like, like when I hear you hustling and do that, I'm like, I need that energy. I need that mindset back.
I'm 28, so I mean, I got into this at like 20, 25, I think. Yeah. Yeah, honestly, the money is the motivation.
Yeah.
Like, this is an incredible industry
Yeah.
to be able to work, make a large amount of money, and most people take some time off after, but I don't
You
like
are
that.
not
No,
stopping.
I don't stop.
I know.
Nah.
At one point, I'm like, yo, I want to work with her.
Yeah.
Like, you see
How
me,
did
you
we
see it.
even Jamal introduced us,
I think
right?
you and Jamal had did something, and I'm like, oh, how'd that go? And I'm like, oh, this girl Cree. And then I started to see you pop up more, I guess, from our phones listening to
Facebook
us.
everywhere, yeah.
So then, like for me, I'm big on integrity and loyalty. So it's like if it came from that direction, I try to keep it from that direction. Even though if I do send you stuff on the sides, like I'll always remember where it came from. Like, yo, bro, here you go.
Yeah.
Here you go. You know what I mean? So
For sure.
I'm big on that. But I think a lot of our transactions that we did were through and with Jamal anyway.
Yeah.
So I think we kind of just built on that. And now I'm slowly sending you stuff. But I send it to you after, like, Jamal's like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, man, forget you then. Here, Cree, I know who to give it to, Because I know sometimes it's like, if I can't do it, because you always try to keep it in-house first. But if I can't, it's just like, yo, you actually got to open up the door and allow other people in the same industry and help you, know? And like, hey, they have a book that you don't got, let's just see if it's possible.
For sure. Yeah, I've got so many people sending me deals now. I'm just like trying to, there's only so many hours in a day.
Yes.
Yeah, there's so many, and I still have a 3-year-old. He'll be 3 next month.
Nice.
So I try to dedicate a little bit of time to him a day, and focus on work. It's also hard to focus when there's chaos in the background. So
I think you juggle it really well because from a outside perspective, we can't tell. Like,
it takes a village.
Yeah.
My parents are incredibly
beautiful.
supportive. They're basically my daycare.
That's beautiful.
I mean, my ex as well. He's an amazing father, so
Awesome.
he handles it, holds it down too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it does take a village. I call it an ecosystem. My babysitter just left for 2 months for vacation.
Must be nice.
Right. So now the family's coming together because like we have my 1.5-year-old daughter, and we're like, who's doing what days, So I get 2 days out the week. My wife got 2. My grandma got 1. We're coming together, and she's a little crazy.
Funny.
So, but no, it does take a village to make it look smooth, And I think you do a great job at it because
Thank you.
Because the way you carry yourself is just amazing. Like the way you spend time with your son, you don't see a lot of. I love that because you don't see a lot of people share that side. For me, I'm big on like, well, what do you do with your money? What's your downtime look like? Because when you see somebody in the image that you're stuck on, to see them do something different, like, really, that's you? So for me, I started to like break out that mold of just being real estate related and share a little bit more of my outside perspective. And since doing that, I've gotten so much more
feedback, right?
More relationship building, and I think people enjoy the authenticity of.
It's hard. I mean, when I first started, I was very much so keep everything separate.
Yeah.
I didn't even like to post my son on Facebook.
Right.
None of that. I have a personal Instagram and a business Instagram. I just feel like sometimes when you mix business with pleasure, it gets a little sticky, especially with people who like to cross the line. And like I said earlier, when you're a woman, it's a little bit weird. Sometimes it can get weird. But I trust the people that I accept into my life, that I share stories with. If I accept you as a friend, then that means I'm willing to share my life with you outside of real estate. So I try and dibble dabble here and there, share my son, share my travel, share a little bit about me, so people realize, okay, she's a real person. She's not just a bot.
Hey, I mean, just from my receiving of all the information about you. It's working. I'm intrigued. I'm like, man, she's got it together.
Thank you.
And I'm sure you don't, because nobody do.
Nobody has it all together. Yeah.
But I mean, the way you carry yourself, I think it's phenomenal. you know, and it's very inspiring even
Thank
for me
you.
to stay motivated too. And I think that's something individuals need to be more open about, is that you could be the greatest, but there's still moments where somebody that just started can inspire you, their
Oh, yeah.
drive and energy, you know? And you've only been doing this for 3 years, you know? I actually already took a lot out of it. It's like, you know what? Let me start looking at the money more. You know what I mean? Like,
I made y'all a good amount of money
yeah,
last
you
year.
sure
Yeah.
did. You sure did. And like even now, like when you say that, it sounds like you're just looking at all of the pleasures. Because before people were like, what's your purpose? And you know, people normally would answer my family, but the ordained, you know, the simple everyday answers, right?
Yeah.
But now it's just like when I ask some people, what's your purpose? It's really two things that I really want to know. Is it pain or pleasure?
Mm.
That's really your purpose on doing whatever it is that you're doing.
Yeah.
Is it out of pain or pleasure? Because when you're in pain, like you got to pay this bill, you're about to get this, your house is about to,
Oh, yeah.
you're about to get foreclosed. People will,
Oh,
out of that
yeah.
pain, you're about to lose your
Yeah.
girlfriend, you're about to lose your boyfriend. You know, it'll make you move. I know because I used to work out of that
Yeah.
purpose.
That's where my everything came from.
Yeah.
When I split with my ex, it was probably it was the hardest thing that I've had to do, because grasping that I'm going to be a single mom was one of the hardest things I've had to go through.
Right.
And he had started a wholesale company, Supreme Assets. So I was working under him for as long as I had started.
Mm-hmm.
So when we split, I broke off and decided, okay, I'm going to focus on agency and do my own thing.
Mm-hmm.
I turned all of my pain into my motivation for everything. I
Right.
got my own apartment. I moved out the same day we broke up. I literally took over everything personal and just put it into work.
Right.
And I surpassed him. And he hated the fact that he suffered business. He lost business because I left his company.
Right.
But that pain was literally what got me here today.
Yeah, you put it towards your work.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think you were able to do that because you knew it was real.
Yeah.
I know because, you know, when I got my first check, I was like, I'm not going back to work. That's not true. I made 10K wholesaling in 90 days, and then 30 days later, I got fired. I was working retail sales, so Timberland, Puma, footwear.
Wow, that was a time to be alive. Wow.
I know. And during the hypebeast era, right? But I hated it. I didn't enjoy it at all, even with like the reselling of sneakers and stuff. Like for me, it was just a job, and I enjoyed just running the business aspect. I didn't enjoy the merchandise. So I didn't build a lot of relationships in that culture either, because they're like, yeah, Sean don't care about this. Like I couldn't connect with them because I had kids, you know. I'm thinking about different things. You guys are thinking about grabbing the next Jordan.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about I gotta put food on my table.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, yo, the Jordan doesn't mean much because I'm in the stock room with hundreds of them. So the way you guys look at the way I see it is completely different. You know, because I'm surrounded by all of it, and it's just thread and rubber to me at some point, you know. But when I got fired out of Timberland at 17th and Walnut in City, I was like, you know what? I'm trying to make this work. And I had a conversation with my wife and the family and stuff, because like a lot of people don't talk like this, but I knew that it's there, that when you're with somebody and they have family that care about them, you should address that, you know? So it's just like, I'm with my wife now, but she has a mother that I was living with, a sister, and I'm sure that they're thinking like, what is he gonna do? How are you gonna take care of my daughter, my sister, you know? So for me, I recognized that, and it was important for me to address it. And I was given a year to make real estate work before my son started kindergarten at the time. So that was 8 years ago.
Wow.
And yeah, I never looked back.
That's awesome.
You know, and today, my purpose is more driven by pleasure.
Okay.
You know?
Can you explain?
Yeah, because I guess I've been driven by pain for so long that I was like, I don't want to sit in the space of trauma and hurt and think about it all the time. Like I would go to sleep knowing I got good money, knowing I would still wake up in massive pain, like in my stomach, in my like, oh, I'm missing something. Like, oh, how am I gonna? Like, I would always think like that, and I was like, this hurts. Like, it hurts my stomach. Like, I'm in a roller coaster all the time. So I just really looked at my situation. And I said, you know what? How much time do I have with the finances I had, mortgage and all that, I was like, how much time do I have? And I was like, from that point forward, I was like, I want the most time going into the future, where I could take a day and be like, it's cool. I still got like 5 years ahead,
Right.
Finances wise. I started to think about that. And I was like, you know what? 5 years ahead, 10 years ahead, what are some pleasures I would like to enjoy?
So what are some things that you've
So I started to
indulged
share
in?
it actually now. I have a
Okay.
pleasure of doing building cars.
I did see that
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
into cars.
And I never shared it before, because like you said, it could really make people shift their mindset and think of you like for cars instead of real estate. I was like, I didn't want that.
But honestly, that's how you get the attention of other people.
It's true. So
and
many.
you can bring in people like that. Just because you posted that car thing, like that makes you. Okay, so you post a car, someone else is also in love with cars. They comment, you get to talking about, this and that, and that's your next client. Like,
It's true. Like
it really does
a few
make a
wholesalers
difference.
hit me. I'm like, oh, you like cars? And they start commenting like, I know this.
Yeah.
I'm like, I would have never thought even like my guy Drew, who holds this office, he built cars. I didn't know that.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, like when I started to share what I do with my results, and when I say results is money, I just never am blunt about it on social media because I don't want to be obnoxious. Like, hey, guys, I
Right.
just made 40 grand.
Yeah.
Look at, you know what I mean? Like I do it here and there, but the truth is like when I show those checks, me and my team are making it.
Motivational purposes.
Yeah, it's just
yeah.
motivation, and me and my team are making. If you guys think it's all for me, no, it's not. Me and I split everything with my team. It takes a tribe to make this happen.
It does,
So
yeah.
I'm all about giving. I don't like to work with takers because takers do what they do. They take. So I like to work with givers that give back.
And
But-
honest people.
And honest people. That's the main thing. But yeah, when I started to share my results with what I do with it, it started to make me feel like focused on the pleasure so much more now. It's like this is what I do for business with the results, family, love, and then pleasure. So like I made a vision board 8 years ago, and it was like having my boys playing on the playground, going to get ice cream, having a daughter, which we didn't have at that time.
Enjoying the simple life.
Yep, enjoying simple life. Me getting engaged, giving my wife engagement ring because I didn't have the finances. So before all this happened, I made that board, a supercar, a house. I did everything except a supercar. In the picture was a Lamborghini, but my coach was like, "You never made another vision board," and I'm like, "I know, right? I never did," and I never really understood why. Another one, like no more visions came. I was like, I never completed that one. So this year I plan on getting a supercar to complete that vision board so more can
dope.
flood in.
That's dope.
And that's the power of a vision board. Like my vision board
Yeah.
wasn't normal. Like I had a baby girl on there. Like I'm going to manifest a daughter. You know what I mean? I was like,
Yeah.
oh shit, it worked. Like it was an 8-year vision board.
That's
and
dope.
that's the power of it. So for me, like my pleasure is just to complete that and then let my imagination run wild where I could sit and do another board, because
That's fire.
I never, in hindsight, I didn't see the power of it. My coach had me do the board. But then as things was just getting knocked off one at a time, like big dreams that
Yeah.
it's far-fetched, I guess, for somebody thinking ordinary,
Yeah, but envisioning things and speaking them into existence, like putting it out into the universe really does make a difference.
And that's what I'm doing now. That's why I guess I'm sharing, my love for cars a lot more, putting it out there that I want to get a supercar, putting it on my channels. I realized that, God, if he's this massive being looking down at his pool of children, right? I was like, he only has 2 eyes, right? So he can only maneuver. But I've learned throughout the years of being in real estate that you should tell everybody your dreams and visions.
Yeah.
And I love it the most because when I say it and somebody says, Sean, I want that for you. I'm like, really? But it got to be genuine. Like, you really want,
No, that's one of my favorite things to say. I love that for you.
I love that for you,
love
right?
that
And
for
I want so many people to say it because when so many people are genuinely saying, I want that for you, it brings like a bit of a light, a bit of a light, a bit of light. And I feel like God could have blessed me already, but then he's like, all right, Sean, on this area, I got to go to my other children now. He walks and he does his thing, and they're his trillions of kids. And then it's just like, because I put my vision out there so much and, people, I want that for you. I want that. I get it so much that there's this light. Like, what is that? Sean, is that you again? Oh my God. You know what? Let me just give it to you. It seems like everybody want to get, so it's just like for me, I've ran down that road where I'm always manifesting and telling her, I want this, I want this. You want this for me? Because I need to hear you say it. You know, I truly believe that. You know? And yes, since sharing my results and what I do with it, it has opened up a different door that I wouldn't have thought was there. I feel like even for you to be here, like all your journey in this, I followed, and I'm like, man, I'm intrigued, you know. And I haven't had a girl on this channel until I realized, like, man, there's too many guys. I need a girl, you know what I mean? And I was sitting there thinking, I was like, I want somebody I genuinely want to talk to, you know. And you and somebody else came up, and yeah, it was easier than I thought, because everybody that I asked, I was like, well, Sean, what's a topic? I'm like, no topic. I just genuinely want to know you.
That's
you know?
awesome.
No topic. You talk about whatever you want, because I'm genuinely curious also, you know? So 2025, we're here now.
Yeah. Insane.
What's your goals like this year? You know, you going
My
back
goals.
to Jamaica?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I would love to travel a little bit this summer. Definitely, that's one of my pleasure goals for sure. Investing is my goal this year.
Do you have any like assets under your belt, like rentals, nothing? Everybody probably was like, what? You know, because you find a lot of opportunities.
I just got into my first creative deal.
Okay.
But I'm looking to buy. Like I'm
buy
looking,
that deal.
Yes, okay. I want to buy as many properties as I can this year. I'm working with an amazing lender, Nicholas Payton, with Simple Life Investments.
Okay.
He's also one of my best friends, and he knows my finances. He knows every single thing. And this year is our year. Hopefully, we get into a few different flips, and you know.
So are your taxes caught up too?
Yeah.
Mine aren't. So I was like, I can't even
I
work
try
with.
And stay on
I
it.
can't
really
even work with a traditional lender right now.
It's so hard. It's so hard, and it's expensive. I hate filing taxes, but yeah, that's really important for investing. If you're not, you know, using your entire 100% capital, which is not something I want to do, then you need to have your taxes in order, your credit in order, everything in order to get into investment properties.
I feel like hard money is more like the back door.
Yeah.
But if you want to go traditional route, you need to have things in place, which I think is good. Both to have both. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Leverage both. So this creative deal, is it like a seller finance or subject to?
I'm going to share a little bit about that soon, but...
Oh, nice. So you don't want to do it
not
now?
Yet, not yet.
Okay. My first year, I got 8 rental properties.
Nice.
And it was all creative.
Nice.
Seller financing, subject to, contract for deed. I took this one class where it was all creative financing, and they ran through every little way that you could get in.
Yeah.
Right? And I watched that class probably like 5-6 times over and over. And I would apply it the next day, apply it the next day, apply it the next day. And I was just getting like seller finances left and right. I was like, oh,
there
shit.
There are so many opportunities to get into creative deals. Like, especially when you find listings that are sitting on market for so long, whether they're turnkey or rehab. It's like, reach out to the sellers, see what you can make shake for them. Take over their mortgage, like sub 2, wraparounds, anything, seller finance. There are so many opportunities, even for people who are just getting into real estate, to get in that. And you only need like a little bit of money for down payments to get into it. Like, it's very low entry fees.
So how'd you learn how to communicate the creative side? Because I know that when I learned, there's a way to communicate it, to have a seller say yeah, or have their mindset open, versus just saying, hey, like, you want to be the bank? you give me, I give you the money, you give me, you know what I mean? I'm like, that ain't gonna work. You know, everybody want their money now.
Yeah, right. You know? For me, I got lucky. So I work with a lot of investors.
Right,
so
you sure
I was
do.
lucky enough to just reach out to one of my investors who had an issue selling something on market. And I said, well, do you want to work out something creative? And it worked for him. So, I mean, I think it's all about your sphere of influence, like who is in your circle, who you know, your connections. Also, social media is an incredible marketing factor nowadays. Right. You make one color post on a Facebook group and you can get 50 comments. I know. You know, like, and we all band together, as you know.
We
do.
So, I think we're coming together more now.
For sure, yeah. Shout out to Steve Estates.
Yeah.
He's really bringing us, bringing us together.
I think in the past, when we did get like dicked over by a buyer or a seller, I guess like, even for me, it happened to me before, but I guess I didn't have the voice to air anybody out or want to make a problem.
A scene.
Yeah, scene or stuff like that. But now it's just like, Like it happened to me last year. I actually probably it just happened to me like right before you came, and I'm like, fuck. I was like, you know what? Forget it. That let me get myself, But it happens, and I think us banding together to kind of expose those individuals is a really good thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of ethical things.
I mean, wholesaling in general feels like it's
Yeah.
unethical already,
Well,
right?
yeah, it's unethical. I mean, for me, it's like if it works for the seller and it works for me, then
Then good.
it should
Same
be
thing.
fine. I'm not out here to rob any sellers of, extreme loads of profit. But if it works for them and they're happy, that's the main goal.
Right. Happy.
Yeah,
Win-win.
but in terms of outing people who are, backdooring you or just doing things dirty on deals, in terms of being a realtor, you still have to have a lot of ethical guidelines that prevent you from speaking out.
Yeah.
Prevent you from name dropping and, so on and so forth, because everybody is after your license. Everybody's after, some filing a complaint.
Right.
So it can be sticky here and there, but when you go about things the right way, it really is beneficial to everybody because we need to band together.
Yeah, because look, the new law kicked in where like wholesaling is kind of illegal now, right? So it's like you need to have a license or wholesaling license and then having a realtor license, an agent license, you need to be with a broker that accepts the practice too.
Yeah.
So, I'll be honest, I like it. I like all the changes because it's
Me
going to make or
too.
break people.
Yes, it's going to weed people out.
Yep.
Also, more opportunities for agents.
Yep,
Like wholesalers, thankfully, will come to us and say, "Hey, can you help me close this?" That's some extra change in our pockets. But hopefully, we get some of the people who don't really care to be in the industry out. Same thing when the new laws passed with the whole NAR lawsuit for agents when we can't post commissions on the MLS anymore. We can't have it on agreements anymore. It has to be on compensation agreement forms, and we have to, have agency agreements
I like
signed
that law
before.
too.
Yeah, we go to even properties. So that kicked a lot of agents out of, the space because they just aren't willing to work that hard.
They don't know how to communicate that new practice. I like to say.
Not just the new practices, but how do you ask your investors for money if the seller's not paying for it? How do you implement those new changes? But you have to have great brokers who are educating you and keeping you in the loop with everything. Rob Eunice and Mark Ritchie are my brokers with Prime Realty Partners. They're incredible.
So they allow you to wholesale and stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm very transparent with them. I will pick up the phone and call anytime I have an issue with a buyer, anytime there's an issue with a transaction. They are amazing. I was with KW Philly before I was with Prime, and I didn't like it.
KW Philly on Broad Street, was it?
Yeah. KW Empower now. Wholesaling was sticky. A lot of...
They frown upon it more.
Yeah, they frown upon it just because they've had so many lawsuits from it. In terms of paperwork, they don't like any of that stuff. They don't like any of it. But when you're with brokers who support it and also wholesale themselves or assign themselves, know the game, are in the investment space, it's...
I think it's a ethical and logical way to do it.
Yeah,
moral too. It is a way.
Very morally. Yeah, there's a way to do it.
Yeah, I was talking to Drew, and he was asking me what do you do? How do you just because you have a license now? I was like, well, Drew, I want to let you know. For me, I try not to buy it first. I asked the sellers always. I was like, why don't you fix it up and reap the benefits? I was
partner.
If you put in the sweat equity, you get the profits. I was like, but in this scenario, you don't want it. You know that somebody has to buy it where it's profitable for them too.
Yeah.
And I said, I was like, why would you want somebody to buy this and break even? I was like, what's the point?
What? I saw Nick Massini did something with Santini. Instead of assigning it to him or something, he used his profits to partner with him on the transaction. That was an incredible move for him as well. But there's so many opportunities to, make sure it's beneficial for everybody and that it's moral for everybody. I feel like a lot of wholesalers nowadays don't even tell.
They don't communicate
anything about it being
That's why I learned communicate where I was like, I don't want to buy it.
Yeah.
I think you should keep it first. And then nah, Sean, you do it. You I just got this lead yesterday from a seller and I'm like, well, when can I see it? And he's like, well, it's tenant occupied. Went there, no answer. I was like, hey, you have the tenant's number? I don't have it. I was like, well, how do you collect rent? At the beginning of the month. I was like, oh, February's coming up. we'll meet and, I could check it out then. They're not paying. I'm like, what is going on? You know what I mean?
There's so much lack of information.
Yeah.
And that's honestly what set me apart so much from other wholesalers.
Same.
So, like, my marketing is down to the T.
Yeah.
Like, if I present a property to you, you should not have to come back to me with any questions. Not a single one, because it's already presented to you. And if you do come back with questions, you just didn't read.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't like to leave out any single detail. I don't like to waste anybody's time.
CYA, cover your ass. So it's like, for me, I'll say too, like, hey, don't say I didn't tell you.
Yeah.
I did tell you.
Yeah.
And then even when I collect the deposit, like, what I'm doing now is like, hey, I want to let you know I'm getting an assignment fee. If they didn't know, I'm like, I'm getting paid on this.
And they see it all in
right?
the HUD.
And if it's big, I'll really have this kind of, I'm like, hey, before I take this, I'm going to give you the opportunity to take it back.
That's nice of you.
Because I am going to make money on you. Are you okay with that? And then I'm like, yeah, Sean. I'm like, great, because you're getting a great asset that'll make you money, right? Like, I want to hear them say it, like, you're flipping it, right? All right, you're in a position at this price to make a profit, correct? Yes. Okay, buy and hold. You're in a position to make generational wealth, right? Yes, great. I'm making 20K on you. Then, all right, go ahead. You know what I mean? It's just like, I want them to say
very
it.
honest.
I want them to say it, like, yeah, I'm making good profit too, Sean. At this price, I'm good. All right, bet. No surprises at the closing table.
Yeah, a lot of surprises when sometimes. Yeah. I mean, in terms of the agency perspective on wholesaling, sometimes I just say, I can pay my own commission. Let's go under contract at this price, and I'll have my investors cover my commission.
Same, yep. I have my buyers pay me.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is what you want? Hey, I can't. I'm not telling them. I was like, I may not be able to buy this at this price point, but would you be open if I bring one of my, networks that would like this?
Yeah.
If you can get paid at this price, you good? I was like, and I'll have them compensate me, no commission to you.
Yeah.
You cool with that? I'm like, yeah, sure, go. I'm like, bet.
If it works for them.
Oh my God.
And normally before I even assign it, I'll tell the seller, I say, I found it, the deal that works for me. They're paying my commission. And if they ask, how much are you making? Yeah, I have no problem telling you.
Same.
If it's an issue for you, I have no problem coming up, because I'm not out here to rob you. I want you to get a fair deal. I want myself to get a fair deal. As long as we're both happy and both compensated, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I did a transaction where I made 25 recently, but I co-wholesale with somebody. But again, they had miscommunication, and she wasn't getting compensated, but she brought the buyer. I was like, well, how much do you want? She was like, well, normally 5K. I was like, not a problem. Good. Is that it? It's like, hey, 20K is still good.
Yeah.
It's still good enough for everybody.
For sure.
To keep it going.
Yeah.
And I think relationships in real estate is the best. You gotta have good.
That's
why I wasn't burning yours.
I had do you know Leroy?
I do.
Yeah, we did a deal last year. Took us like 5-6 months to close because of so many clouds on title. The buyer for that, she knew we were assigning it for a pretty decent spread. I think the spread was like 35,000 or something like that. And she bought it. She paid us our assignment fees. She relisted the house. She made probably over $150,000 after flipping the house.
Oh, wow.
And this year for Christmas, she sent me a random bonus.
Man,
and was like, thank you so much for everything you've done for me this year. So relationships like that are so important to keep intact.
I got this one investor who does flips, and, he always gives me his goal. And I'm like, all right, if I can get over, can I keep it? And he's like, yeah.
Yeah.
And I sold things 15, 20K over. And like, here you go, Sean.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, and I made the commission. I'm like, yes.
Yeah. Double dipping. Yeah.
It's a way to do it for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like an art form, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Nobody's not feeling rubbed the wrong way. Because it's like, if you perform, why not? If you perform, why can't you get compensated for it?
And that's why I like the deals on market. Like, nobody likes to work on market deals. I don't know why. Maybe just because they don't like dealing with agents, but I love them. I mean, I know how to work them, and everyone has deals where they deal with shit agents or people that just don't want to communicate with you or don't want to work with wholesalers. But
it's true. They have this kind of misconception.
Yeah, stigma, whatever. But
I think you can tell right away.
Absolutely.
I was on the phone with somebody and she told me she would call agents and say, hey, you have anything off market? Her name was Patience. I said, okay, Patience, if you called me that, right? And you asked me, I was like, okay, no, not a problem. I can send you things. I was like, but I would ask you, I was like, Patience, have you done a transaction in the last 6 months? No. Have you done anything in the last year? No. Have you done
It's
any?
the agents that do nothing
Right.
that
So then
are
it's
the
like,
hardest to
I'm
deal
giving
with.
her that perspective. Like, if you haven't done anything, me sending you stuff is going to do what for you?
Nothing.
You know what I mean? Because there's a disconnection of you understanding what it is that isn't allowing you to make your first transaction. So it's not the deals, it's you. You know what I mean? So I told her, like, I'd be wasting my time if I cater to that. You know, you need something. She wasn't an agent. I said, I think you should become an agent. You know? I said, she's been trying to wholesale for 3 years. So I said, I think you should try to become an agent.
3 years.
We're trying to do this business on and off. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You know? She's probably she doesn't know her focus of pain or pleasure. That's how I feel about it when I hear it.
It's
know?
about focus and this and like consistency.
Focus, yeah.
Yeah.
Consistency is a big thing. So, I mean, 2025 is here. Shit, I ain't gonna lie. I'm like, man, I don't have a big pool of buyers. You know, I have a big pool of big Asian buyers. You know, but when it comes to the little stuff, I was like, man, they don't want this, you know? So it's just like I feel like you got a big pool of buyers. Like, how did you gather that up? Was it from like Supreme or?
I had to give all of my buyers to Supreme when I left, honestly. I feel like it's like that when you leave any brokerage, really. They're contractually obligated to your buyers unless you have them stored somewhere else. Right. So I took a little bit of a loss that way when I left the company. But so I really had to rebuild it strong.
But it's not like you can't reach out to them if you have something
but
today,
at the same time, like I can't stop them from buying Supreme deals and me not getting a cut out of that, you know? So that was a little bit of sucky. But networking events, social media, I am very, very active. How
do you screen them though? Because everybody says they could buy.
Oh, yeah, you know? But I'm not going to show you a property or even really present anything to you until I know you're hard money approved, your proof of funds, anything. Like, I need to see it all because I'm not going to waste my time.
What if they say, like, all right, no problem, I'll go to somebody else?
Bye.
Oh, that's it. You don't even care.
I don't care.
I love it. Let it go.
Go to somebody else. Because my deals are going to sell. Like, anytime I have a good deal, it's gone within 24, 48 hours. So I'm not worried about it. If you want to go somewhere else to someone who's going to let you waste their time, be my guest.
That's awesome.
On to the next.
Are most of your buyers like Jerseyans?
No. No. I've got some people out of the country, overseas. Got a lot of people in PA, majority in PA actually.
Right.
Atlanta, California.
How'd you meet them overseas?
Facebook.
Really?
Yeah.
And they just buy remotely? Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I tried that, but people reaching out to me.
Right. I guess your marketing is working. I mean, your social media
when
posts.
you're really active, people see that you're active and reach out to you. Hey, I see you're active. Can you help me sell this? Sure.
Okay. So say if a buyer came to you and was like, I'm looking for, how do you intake them to become a client of yours?
First thing I do is ask, are you working with an agent? If they're not working with an agent, I try and get them under my agency contract and show them that I can provide value.
Well, what if they just want like an investment, not... You still put them on their agency contract?
Yeah, because I'm going to show you that I can find you the property that you're looking for. Whether it's investment property, a retail property, a luxury property, a commercial property. Just give me your criteria and I'm going to get to work on it. So I'm going to show you I can provide marketing. I could provide leads. I will have them in your email within 3 times out the week for you to surf through several different leads that are tailored to your search.
Right.
So that's how I prove my trust, you know, with the investors. And eventually, I mean, not even eventually, most of the time they're more than willing because they see my profile. I'm active. I have business to show for it, and I close.
Right.
So.
Wow. That's amazing. You're killing it out here. Do you ever plan on becoming like your own brokerage?
No.
I could see it.
No.
I really could see that shit.
You know, a few people have asked me to collab on a company or like a wholesale company or some type of
I'm sure
property management company, anything. I don't know if I'm ready yet. I enjoy what I do. And I'm also only one person.
Yeah.
I've got a couple virtual assistants, but I have no team behind me. I'm not on a team at my broker. I'm a solo agent. I think it's a lot harder to scale than most people think when you're only one person. I have to really focus on building a solid team before I scale big time.
Right. Well, what's your focus this year? Is it team building or scaling? I'm sure you have a lot of AI automated systems in place now, being a one-person army.
I have a lot of people that come to me, but I don't take everybody on because I need to see that you're willing to work.
Because I seen, I think sometime last year you did have a mentee that you were sending out to do certain things.
He wanted to get a full-time job.
Right. He went to get a full-time job, so it wasn't cutting it.
Yeah, he got a bank job, so I think it was a conflict of interest with real estate, and I got him his license too.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I got him. He went through all the courses, everything, and just decided he wanted to get a full-time job because it was more consistent.
Right. See, process and systems.
Yeah,
right.
And he was killing it too.
Yeah.
He really was like one of the best mentees I've had. I put everything into him, and that was really hard for me to let go, but...
Do you check in with him? Is it something that
absolutely.
he opens to come back to, or?
I hope he'll come back to it. He just got his license, and it's about that time where he has to either commit to a brokerage or just let it go. So I hope he comes back to it and realizes that this is definitely something he could be lucrative in, but you can't force people to...
No, you can't. You have to let them choose.
Yeah, I can lead a horse to water, but...
Yeah, I've went through that a lot, too.
Yeah.
Are you licensed in Jersey?
I am licensed in Jersey, but I have not hung the license in Jersey.
Got it.
I took all my exams, everything, but I haven't hung it.
But in PA, you're with somebody.
Yeah.
Can it be the same thing, or?
Yeah, for sure. You just have to go through the process and actually submit the license to your broker.
Got it.
Yeah.
I'm in classes now for my Jersey license.
Oh, nice.
I think I have 3 weeks left.
Okay.
So.
If you start in PA, you don't have to.
No, if you do PA. You get it? You still got to go through everything with Jersey.
Well, no, it depends on how you did your hours. Because I did 75 hours. Did you do all 75 hours?
No, when I got my license 8 years ago, they were only requiring 60 hours.
There you go. Yeah. So if you do the full 75, you only have to go back and take your state.
And if you're licensed, you were licensed in Jersey first?
PA.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if you start with PA first and do 75, you only have to take the state in
Get out
Jersey.
of here.
Yeah. You don't have to do any of the courses.
I always thought it was reversed.
Mm-mm.
That's good to know.
Yeah. I started in PA.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but it's been so long. I knew I had to redo it anyway.
Yeah, it all goes in one ear, not the other.
I'm sitting in it now and watching the other, I think it's like 25 classmates sweating. And I'm like, yo, is that how I look? They're like, what if this and what if that?
Well, I didn't pass my exams right away.
Me neither.
It took me a few tries. 7. That's incredible. That's a new record for me.
But that's because I went in there like really nonchalant. I took the class and not paid attention because when I was in class for PA, like in person, she was literally reading page for page. And I'm like, yeah, forget this. I'm just sit here and just.
I didn't do it in person. I did online.
Yeah.
I actually 3 months after I gave birth, I was
after
doing
COVID
online.
hit, they allowed a lot of the online stuff.
Yeah, that was right
before
after
it was
COVID.
all in person stuff. Yeah.
I mean, some people prefer it in person, but
They
I
still
also
do.
feel like it takes longer.
They still do because commute and stuff.
Yeah.
It is some people that prefer it in person. But yeah, for me, when I went and took the exam, like my first test, I was like, yeah, I'm not studying. I just need to get a feel. I wanted to just get over the test feel and environment. I just need to see what the hell this looks like.
There's a lot.
Yeah, so computer,
the testing
this
centers,
and that.
all that, the cubicles, the
so
cameras
then,
on
the second,
it.
third, fourth, fifth, light studying.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? The sixth one, I said, I'm not even trying to pass both. I'm going to just try to pass one, the state one, because it's like, 60 questions?
Yeah, I think it's 50 or
passed
something.
it. Boom. Yeah. And I was like, the seventh one, now I can focus on it. I was like, passed it. That's the 7 times right there.
I started memorizing. I failed twice and passed on my third. I passed my state the first time.
Got it.
And kept failing the federal because it's like 150 questions. And I started memorizing the questions.
Yep.
So that if I thought that I got something wrong, I would memorize it, go home, write it down, and Google it immediately so that when I came back to take it the next week, I had everything.
Yeah, when I would sit and memorize so much.
Yeah.
The 6 and 7 tests. Like right when I would sit down, scribe paper, I write everything I memorized.
Yeah.
But when I was like, cool, I don't got to memorize it no more. Just click.
It was the math that was hard for me.
Math was hard for me, so I knew that we were allotted like X amount wrong. I'm like,
Yeah.
all the ones wrong is going to be the math.
Math,
for
yeah,
me, so
same. That was hard.
that's
for
how
me.
I passed it.
But I was so happy once I finally got my license. It has been like a life-changing thing. I recommend every wholesaler.
Same,
If you
same.
have not gotten your license and you're experiencing this wholesale ban, get your license.
Yeah.
Do the work and get your license.
Jamal's in class now for
Is
his
he?
license
Good,
too. I
good.
told him that too, and I said, you're going to have so much more opportunity.
Yeah, I told my
For
ex
the
the same thing. I
listings.
said, why don't you just get your license?
Yeah.
He said he just moved to different states. So he's in, focusing on Atlanta and
Yeah.
Ohio, all that stuff now. I'm like,
It's so much virtual stuff to assist you
oh, yeah.
to do it out of state. You
Mhm.
know, boots on the ground.
Boots on
and
the
stuff.
ground, yeah.
Everything is there for you nowadays.
Yeah.
I think all the wholesalers built up businesses.
Yeah, to
You
do the
know,
boots on the ground
yeah.
stuff. It's smart.
Yeah,
It's very smart. I mean,
it's like a service needed, right?
yeah.
From something that wasn't there.
Yeah.
Because even Jamal now, I see him reaching out to other states, which is pretty cool
Yeah, that's
to see the
dope.
growth. Yeah.
Very dope.
All right. So, what do you got going on for 2025? Any last remarks or anything like that?
For 2025, I hope to grow, most importantly. I want to grow my price points. I want to grow my sphere of influence. I want to sell a shit ton of more houses. I think
Yes,
last year I
yes.
did like 40 something.
Oh, wow. Is that wholesale and agent?
No, a little bit of both. I
Okay.
mean, some things you can't always run.
Right.
You know.
Right. You can't
A little
put
bit
it
of
in
both.
there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I did like 40, 45 or something transactions last year that actually closed.
Mhm.
I'm sure it would have been at least like 60 something
Right.
if a lot didn't happen. I had houses that were knocked down the day of closing
Oh,
last
no
year.
way.
Yeah, literally.
I know I did see poses here and there where you're
Yeah,
like, what do you do in this
insane.
situation?
Like-
I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
like,
that's the
what
first
do
thing I
you
did.
do? I'm reading the comments. Like, how'd she get over this? You know?
This is the first thing I do is run to Facebook. What do I do?
Yeah. Yeah.
But this year, I really hope to grow. I mean, I would love to gain more partners in this industry. I obviously want to invest myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope this year
When you say invest, like holds or flips is your ideal thing.
I always said I didn't want to get into holds because I don't want to deal with tenants.
Mhm.
I have been through too many situations where I'm helping landlords
I
evict
know, you see
tenants
it, right?
or you see it and I hate to see it. And I'm also dealing with so many new listings myself. I'm kind of almost transitioning to a listing agent because
Mhm.
so many people are coming to me. But I want to gain a lot more trust with sellers this year, with buyers. Just increase my productivity all
Right.
around.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome.
So hopefully by the end of the year, when we do speak again, I'll have a few properties under my belt and have scaled tremendously.
Yeah,
so.
I meant like another thing why I'm doing this this channel is I'm speaking to close family, friends, loved ones
Mhm.
to have them capture their journey.
Yeah.
And then I like to reflect. I'm like, yo, remember when you said that and how much you've grown? Like even my mentee Leo, if you've seen me sharing him, he started June 18th. He quit his full-time
Full-time?
job. Do you know Nick Tang?
Yeah.
Okay. That's his best friend from childhood.
Oh,
They went to
nice,
school together,
nice.
He's kind of like just dropped at my doorstep. Was like, I need to learn real estate, And since then he's made like 10 grand, bought a rental property with his little
Good for
brother,
him. Wow.
Yeah, and I'm like, yo, Leo, is this the first rental property in your family for you guys to do? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, you guys just hit like a bracket. Generational wealth. Like you're in a bracket of asset holders that the majority of the country isn't in.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful to see what real estate could do.
I feel like a lot of us who are making good money aren't really doing much with it to put it back into our business.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know marketing costs money, stuff like that. But like this year, a great goal for a lot of us, turn those assignment fees into deposits, down payments.
Yeah.
That's a great goal.
Yeah. I'm doing that now this year where I'm turning a lot of my fees, putting it more into marketing,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And I want to get back into portfolio building because you heard, I said I got 8. Year 3, I lost them all.
Really?
Yeah, just because of bad partnerships. No one ever talks about being a landlord.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
easy to buy and sell.
But it's not easy to keep.
No, it's not easy to have that landlord mindset. But just to elaborate on you not wanting rentals because of what you see, I honestly don't let those stories hinder you because the way you are, I think you'll be an amazing landlord. And even for me, I don't like when I go and speak to my tenants and stuff, because I do have properties now still. I tell them from the gate, I'm not a landlord. I'm lord of my land.
Uh,
Being the lord of my land means everybody living on my land, it's a priority. It's an honor.
it's a privilege.
It's a privilege to take care of you. And I will take care of you. You know, and I when I meet with them for leases and stuff like that, hey, set aside 2 hours. 2 hours? Yeah, 2 hours. We're going to go over the lease, make sure everything's good. It never takes 2 hours. I just want to see if they're mentally there to give me their time because I want them to know I have the speech with them. I'm here to mentally give you my time and my energy to make sure your family's good.
And it's trust.
Yeah, it's a
as
big
well.
trust, you know,
It's
and I want to
trust.
make sure that they're okay living on my land because I tell them, like, you need to take care of this land so that the land can take care of you.
Yeah.
Because if you don't and I don't, you know, the city, the
They
councils,
gonna take care
they're
of
going to
you.
come and take care of
Yeah.
us. You know, we never own anything.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a partnership, you know?
Absolutely.
And that's kind of like the mindset I put in, and I've never had evictions. You know, never had bad situations.
That's
Like
awesome.
there's times where the tenant's late, but I communicate with them. Like my tenant just said, Sean, he just texted me this morning and I completely forgot about January. I'm like, oh shit, my bad. I forgot. Or thank
You
you
didn't
for not
collect
saying-
January rent?
I didn't collect
We're
January.
almost in
I know.
February.
I know,
That's
right?
an
Right.
honest tenant.
But no, but he had a bad November, December.
Okay.
Had a baby, lost his tow trucking company, so he kind of is gathering things. So I helped him a lot, and yeah, I guess he just needed some space. I kind of like his
Yeah,
communication is so amazing. I
that
know
tenants want,
his
yeah.
communication is good that I don't worry about it. You know, it's like if I need to check, he's very transparent because I'm transparent with him.
Yeah, that's the type of tenant I'd want as well. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of leases lately, and my number one reassurance that I try to tell the sellers is I'm going to find you a tenant that I trust. I blow past a lot
Yeah.
of tenants and, you know, say, not a good fit, I don't feel too comfortable,
Yep.
something's off.
Yep.
I always try and meet them myself before I even bring them
Yep.
to the landlord, just because you need to be sure.
Yeah, and I do little things sometimes if it's new. You know, when I'm onboarding tenants, I say, hey, I need a $50 deposit, and they're like, for what? I was like, well, I'll give it back to you when we meet there. You know, and I was like, is it fair that I just collect 50 for my time and travel? And I was like, in the scenario, you stand me up, which I get stand, and I tell them, I was like, I
All
get
the
stood up all the
time.
time. And I was
All
like,
the
not a problem.
time.
Like, if you stand me up, is it fair that, you know, you compensate me for the travel and time here? You know,
Yeah.
$50. And then I was like, but look, if you're there, don't worry, I'm gonna send it right back to you. I was like, if you give me cash up, I'll give you $50 cash.
That's a good.
You know what I
that's a
mean?
really
I
good-
like it's not nothing I really need. It's just so that you don't waste my time. People show up when they pay, you know? And then
That's
when they're
true.
there and they like, I'm like, oh, Sean. I'm like, okay, great. I'm like, you want me to throw the 50 towards the application fee? I was like, I already got it. Just apply, you know? Just apply, you know what I mean?
That's a good hustle.
So I always try to make it, you know, smooth
Yeah.
and understanding for everybody. That way nobody's wasting their time. And they always understand. And it's like, if they don't want to pay the 50, not a problem, no worries.
Yeah.
You're not a client I want anyway, you know? And I was like, I
And
want
there
somebody
are
that really
plenty of
needs
tenants
it.
who will
Oh my God.
who will come to you with everything by the book ready. So
And it's a lot of money in rentals that
It is.
you rent out 10 a month, that's like almost 10 grand right
it
there.
is, and people don't realize that. Like I pass off a lot of tenants just because I have so many that come to me, just because I'm listing a lot of leasings. But I mean, those small things really do add up. Like I even say wholesales, they add up in between the bigger deals, the FHA deals that take longer to close. You know.
Yeah, my team, on the broker side, they have rentals that they turn over in Temple a lot.
Okay.
$2,000 a month, $2,200, $2,500.
Yeah.
They'll list it. I'm like, yo, send me all the leads. I'll go show it.
Ah.
Yep, send me all the leads. I'll open the door, and you know, I'll call, make a big open house, apply, and then I'm like, next thing you know, a month later, $1,000
Yep,
in my
filled.
account, $1,000. I'm like, it's so easy.
It
It's
is
so
easy. I don't. Yeah.
And I
don't-
even tell them, I was like, look, I'm not here trying to sell them. I was like, I'm
Yeah.
just here to open the door and see if they like it, and then
Do you do
process their
Section
paperwork.
8?
I've never done Section 8.
That's a headache.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a long process. It
I've
normally
never
takes,
went to
30 days.
classes, or I want to though, but it's just like, I guess my results in communication with just regular individuals, I've never had to really go that route.
Okay. Section 8, I normally recommend for landlords to get approved for because you often get higher rents than market value.
That is true. That is true.
But it also takes longer to lease the house. Even
Yeah.
when you do find the tenant, it takes about 30 days just for them to get approved.
Right.
But it's worth it. In the end, it's guaranteed rents. It's normally always rents that are going to be on time, and they're paying such small out of
It's
pocket
a
payments.
saying, Section 8 never late, you know, that people say Section 8 landlord.
Yeah, yeah.
I do want to try it. I'm not going to lie, but I guess thinking about it in my head and the process to get it done, and I overwhelm it in my head.
It's worth it. Get a good agent who knows the process really well.
Does a landlord have to be Section 8 certified or anything?
So if you are working with a property manager that is already certified, the landlord does not have to.
Here. Are you certified?
No.
Oh.
I'm not. I should be.
Not
I
yet.
should definitely get into that.
We should get the Section 8 certification.
Honestly,
then, right?
I've been getting into property management a little bit with a few of my rentals, doing it for some of my investors. But yeah, if you're a property management company and you are landlord approved for Section 8, then you don't have to, as the actual owner of the property, get approved.
Got it.
But it only takes like a week, you know, like it's just a online class or something like that.
I think it's like 2 days or something, and then you get certified or something like that. Yeah, I manage now. I property management now for good clients, and I should do Section 8. It'd be so much easier, more money for us too, right?
And it's guaranteed.
It is guaranteed.
Especially when you like the broker, the tenant, the more money you are going to get covered by the state. So I have a tenant who literally makes $0 income. And we just leased her into an apartment this week that was approved for $22.49 or something a month in Bridesburg. She had a like $80 out of pocket payment, and they paid all of her utilities.
So you can help somebody process a Section 8 lease, kind of.
Well, yeah, as the agent, I process the entire tenant.
Right, yeah.
I help the landlord.
I've never done
with
anything
everything.
Section 8, so I'm just like.
Yeah, it's a lot. There's a lot of paperwork. There's a lot of submitting through portals, but I mean, it's worth it when you get that.
Do you know SBJ Lead Safe?
I don't think so.
Jay and Nye, they're like teaching lead people how to become lead inspectors and stuff. Yeah, they go down to the PHA office, set up shop, and
oh really? Yeah, that's
really get involved.
Too.
And I'm like, man, like, but they're renting out units left and right, you know, and I'm like, man, like, you guys are getting it.
There's a lot of Section 8 voucher holders.
So many.
And it's crazy because the wait list is 12 years long.
Oh, my God.
12 years. So I guess you're getting grandfathered in through some type of, or enrolled through a program, something like that, through the state. But yeah, there's so many Section 8 tenants with vouchers, and it's free money.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, it's
now I'm all
so
thinking,
easy.
I'm all daydreaming.
Yeah, and landlords are also taking them with evictions and stuff because it's free money.
It's free money, yeah,
you know?
right? So, welcome to Philly. I know that you just moved.
I
the Philly, what part? Fishtown?
I'm off of Fairmount, so I'm in like Brewerytown-ish area
Close to
by Fairmount
Manayunk,
Park.
Kinda?
Like 20 minutes from
Got
Manayunk.
it.
So I'm literally
Near
like
the
down the
zoo?
street from, from
Yeah,
the
that
zoo.
area.
Yeah.
Good area.
Yeah.
Manayunk is close to you, too,
Yeah.
so you have that strip of restaurants and stuff.
Yeah, there's
What
a
made
lot.
you make the move from Jersey, South Jersey? to
I
Philly?
was doing I'm doing like 5-6 showings a day.
All in Philly?
Yeah, between investors and rentals, or just people that are looking to get into homes. Like 5-6 showings a day. Then I'm taking the 45-minute drive and have to stay in Philly all day long because I'm not crossing the bridge.
Right, back and forth.
Back and forth. So it's so inconvenient. It's a lot on my car. It's a lot of gas. It's a lot on tolls that add up, which I also wrote off on my taxes.
Oh, nice.
But it was just too much. I did it for almost 3 years, and it was just a headache. When I was with my ex, we lived in the same area, so I loved being in that location.
Is he in Philly?
Okay. Yeah, so we're like 6-7 minutes apart. It's convenient for our
that's
son,
good.
And I'll be close to everything I need to be.
How old's your son? 3?
He'll be 3 next month.
So he'll be going to school in Philly then, most likely.
I pray to God not. Maybe some private daycare, but
Go private.
yeah,
not
no
public.
Philly educations right now.
Right. I hear that. I believe it too. My kids are in a private school too.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great private schools. We looked into Goddard, all that stuff.
Right.
But they're expensive,
Right.
very expensive. So mom and dad have to definitely hustle
Right.
to get him into the best schools.
Awesome. All right, Cree, I think we're a little over time.
Okay.
I want to say thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
I learned so much about you. I got exactly what I wanted, to get a little bit more of a better connection with you. Because I'm going to be honest, the transactions we've done, I love them.
Thank you.
Like, this girl knows what she's doing. I felt like you was on my team. Like, hey, let Cree got it. Call Cree up. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you coming down. I know it might have been a drive and stuff like
No,
that.
I'm right here now.
Yeah, right. Let's do this again at the end of the year, because I admire you a lot. Like, your hustle and stuff is amazing. 3 years in the scene, and you're making a big name for yourself. I have no doubt in my mind that you're gonna kill it this year. Like, when I say kill it, make a lot of fucking money, and more scuba diving. Like, I'm living through you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm fearful of that, so it's cool to see you do it. You know, I get the visual too when you share it on social media. So, is there any last words?
Work hard. Work hard and bring me deals, please. Bring me deals.
Okay, you guys hear that? Bring her deals.
Bring me
I'm
deals.
bringing her my deals too now, because
bring them to
it's
me.
easier.
Yes. And if you want to work, if you want leads, if you want to do business together, please reach out. I'm more than happy to share.
Give me your social media: Facebook, Instagram.
Instagram, I am at Realtor Cree, and Facebook, Cree McGee.
Cool. I'll put it in the caption too.
Awesome.
Just so that they know where to find you. And thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me, Sean. It's been a pleasure.